Hey everybody, thank you so much for the well-received trellis video. A lot of you asked for a jig to build your own. I'm going to show you just how easy it is to design your own trellis. Building your own trellis design, get a piece of OSB. Now the first step in starting your own trellis jig design is locating the very center of your OSB. Put a clear, defined line right in the middle. So now that you've got the center of your OSB clearly marked, you're ready to move on to step one of building your new trellis jig. The first step in building your own trellis jig is you're gonna have to go back to my first video and learn how to build this. This is the backbone of your trellis itself, and this must be built in order for you to build this jig. So go back to that video and build one of these first. Oh, hey, you're back. That was fast. So if you're ready to get started now, we've got the trellis laid out on our OSB. First thing that you're going to do with your newly developed trellis backbone glued together is you're going to place it at the center, at the bottom, and at the top of your sheet of OSB. And now that you've got your basic trellis design locked into your jig, at the center point of the top and bottom, you're ready to move on to the next step of your design. All right, so now that we've got our clamps on hand and a pencil, we're ready to start designing the outside edge of our trellis. As I said, I like a more flowing, elegant design. So what I'm doing is I'm just pulling this to where it looks good to me. Now, when I get it locked down more or less the way I want it, I'll hold it in place with one hand while marking it with the pencil at one specific point. This is going to be my pivot or flex point. Looks good when it comes up and it ends at the very edge of the OSB, and it's a natural line to follow. So I'm going to go ahead and put me a mark here. Looking good. Mm-hmm. Okay. You get a new trellis, honey.
Yay.
Yay. Yeah, but here's the thing. This one's going to be 8 feet tall. Mm. Basically, we're going to go ahead and match the outside edge of this side to this side. This is a good time to mention, when you're laying these out, Sometimes the frame will get a little bit twisted, so you may have to push it down against your blocking, and you may have to clamp it or even temporarily pin it with a screw. Okay, it's looking great. You're almost ready to finish your trellis design. Now we need to find the arch on the other two boards. I like that. Ready to move on to your horizontal pieces. These pieces are made from the same dimension as the trellis itself, and you're going to want to space these evenly the way it looks good to you. When installing your horizontal bars, make sure the trellis wood is flat and in line as it should be. Make sure your center board stays on that center line that you marked on the plywood in the beginning. The next step is to get your horizontal bars cut and placed where you want them. Now that you've got all of your horizontal pieces cut and placed where you want them, in my case, I wanted mine at 1 feet, 3 feet, 5 feet, and 7 feet. When you're putting on your horizontal boards, make sure that you have a wedge, something like this, because you might need to manipulate the trellis a little bit to get the spacing correct on the boards. Okay, so now that you've got any adjustments made and you're ready to put on your next horizontal board, you want to just hold your center board straight, keep a framing square or speed square against it, and just line up the horizontal board where you want it to ultimately rest. Now that you know where your next horizontal piece goes, you simply hold it in place and make some marks at each intersection. So now you know where to put your glue. You want to put a generous amount of glue on. This is what's going to hold it, more so than the brad nails. The brad nails are just to keep it in place until the glue dries. When you're placing your horizontal boards, how you choose to cut them, whether they're going to be on a miter, flush, how much is left over the side, that's all up to you. I like to flush cut mine, and I like to keep about a ½ inch longer. Now let me brad nail this. One brad nail in each, and you're still going to want to make sure that your spacing is correct. Obviously, you can't move it vast amounts. I'm going to install the other two just like that. Now with the basic trellis finished, I'm going to release all the clamps and show you what the jig looks like. And now with all the clamps removed, I'm going to show you it just lifts right up out of the jig.
Ooh.
When you remove the clamps, your basic jig design stays. So now you can make a dozen of these, 50 of these, or change the design altogether. And now you're almost finished. The last step is to take a piece of scrap treated if you've got one setting around. In this case, I've got a piece of 5 1/4 deck board. I've cut a spike in the bottom of it. And now all you got to do is drive it in the ground and then simply attach it to the side with a couple of screws. We have got so many more designs coming up, things that I've built in the past, things we're going to build together. So please like and subscribe. It really helps us grow.